So in this video, I'm going to go over some of the things that we did that worked really well and some of the things that we did that didn't work so well, and explain some of the reasons for that, as well as showing you how I repainted OTIS. Also wanted to show off my new Make Things swag that my wife got for me. So if you are liking this channel and you like shirts and you want to sport some swag, let me know. Order a t-shirt for you. Please subscribe to the channel as well. If you have any comments about anything, positive or negative, let me know. Love to hear from you. The things I did mean to do originally, but just finally got around to, is making kind of a firewood wet box for the front. This has been super cool to have already. If you have wet clothes, if you have wet shoes, stuff like that, you can put them in there while you dry really easily. It's also great for firewood, so there's not making a huge mess inside everything. So just kind of a versatile box. I thought about putting one up here, but we've got this little one up here for now. Another thing is, when we looked at the kitchen, we have our kitchen that we've talked about that slides out here. It's here. From a technical weight standpoint, yes, everything works just as planned, but there's very little surface to cut on. There's very little surface for places for storage other than these four things. So when we built the trailer, we put in these two bunks back here. We use these bunks mainly for storage right now. So by converting one of those to a little bit more storage may have been a better use of that. So adding a hatch here possibly on the outside, but possibly a hatch on the other side, because where that bunk is, to get back in there is a little difficult. So never have enough storage. We talk about that all the time with clients, that you can never have enough storage. So how this is going to be used from a functional standpoint in food preparation, stuff like that, would have been a little bit better to think more about that stuff. So in here, I know we talked about this a little bit. This is our control panel. One thing I did kind of by accident, but it worked out well, was I left access to the back side of this through this hatch. This has been really, really handy. So as we add different things, different components, to be able to get in there to do all the wiring is really handy. So I'd highly encourage you, if you're thinking about the design of any trailer, to leave access to electrical stuff that you may want to add, modify. And this is one example right here. So we've recently added a carbon monoxide propane gas alarm. When we put the diesel heater in, became a much more big deal. One time we left the propane on the stove by accident, we smelled the propane. But I realized we do need an alarm like this in here. Because the wiring was all accessible on the back side, very, very easy to get there. As far as performance of some of the stuff, I talked about the diesel heater in a former video. The diesel heater works ridiculously amazing. We ended up with probably a R7, R8 insulation on the inside. When the two of us are inside just sleeping in here, we're comfortable down to 35 degrees in a t-shirt and shorts. One night it got down to about 28 degrees, and so we turned the diesel heater on, lowest setting on idle. Within 15 minutes we had to shut it off because we were too hot. So really, you could be in extremely cold climates, and this is the smallest of the three commercially easily available diesel heaters. So that is working really, really well. Something else we would do again is build the trailer upside down. The video, if you've been watching some of my other videos on the cost-effective build, I spent a lot of time crawling around underneath that trailer. It's not the most pleasant thing to do. By building this trailer upside down to begin with and putting all of the plumbing equipment and everything in there where you could get to the top of it, you didn't have to hold stuff up while you were working on this and that, because even with the best possible design, you're still going to have to modify things on the fly or as you're figuring different things out. So building this upside down, especially for the plumbing and the tanks at the very beginning, was a tremendous decision. I think that's about it. So I'm going to continue on with some of the painting. So we're up in Washington right now. We decided to put a second coat of Raptor lining on. There were some areas that were a little light, so we're just adding to those, plus a little extra protection in some other areas, covering up like a couple little gaps we found here and there, and it gives us a chance to redo the camo. So we liked the camo before, but a few people said it looked a little bit like Minecraft. Nothing against Minecraft, it's a wonderful little thing, but it's camouflage. And so we're varying the size of some of these shapes. You'll see our templates here on the ground, and we're using all of these templates in different combinations and overlaps and different colors to do some different things. So I'm going to insert a time-lapse video here so you can see what this will look like as we go. So you'll see from this process we learned a few things. Number one, don't try to make anything perfect. Just have fun with this. Number two, you can make incredibly complex patterns with just 4 simple shapes. Number three, get a friend. This is definitely not a one-person operation. It is extremely helpful to have one person hold the template in place while the other person does the painting. A couple other updates. So as we were traveling along, we had the 2 motorcycles on the motorcycle on the front was actually a little bit lighter, 20 pounds lighter than the motorcycle on the back. And Otis was shaking a little tiny bit. Nothing that was dangerous, nothing that was annoying, but just moving a little bit back there. So we're going to swap the positions of the motorcycle and motorcycles, and we'll see how that does. We also made some adjustments back here. So when I originally designed this, I designed this angle for the handlebars to come up over the back here to get the motorcycle in tighter. What that did was put the motorcycle up really high. The track of the motorcycle before was up here about 13 inches higher than it is now. Because that was so high up off the ground with that much weight, we think that may have added to kind of just the swaying a little bit. So we dropped this 14 inches. It did move it back about 3 or 4 inches, but that's no big deal. It also gave us more clearance to these lights, and it lowered the rack, so it's going to be easier to get this on and off. So that's about it for right now. Love to hear what you think. Send me some feedback.
We love to make things, yes we really do. Let's make some stuff together you can join into. Plumbing, screwing, fabrication, here